Hail to you. Welcome to Chunkcast. Grab your drinking horn and gather around the fire pit as we discuss comics, gaming, movies, and pop culture. Like and subscribe if you haven't already to become a member of the Chunk Call, Skal.
Hail to you, this is Uncle Chunt, back. It's been a while. I know this happens to me quite often, where I upload a bunch of videos for a while, and then I go away for a while, right, and then I come back. But hey, I'm a real person in a real world with a real job, right, and that's just how it is. But if you've noticed on the channel, I've done a bit of live streaming. We had the faux E3 happen. I miss E3. E3, I mean, for those of you, you should know what E3 is, but if you don't, if you're new to this, and it's the Electronic Entertainment Expo, it was essentially Gamers Christmas, you know, in the middle of the year. You know, we'd all look forward to it, massive event, massive releases, reveals, whatever else it is. It was hype time. I miss it so much, and Summer Games Fest was boring. I didn't like it. I think that was really bad, and I think Jeff Keighley knows that one was really bad. It was just pretty lackluster. And then we've got whoever else is there, right? No Sony this year. Nintendo's actually doing something tonight, so I'm going to probably try and stay up for that and live stream it like I did with the Xbox and Summer Games showcases. So we've got a 40-minute Nintendo Direct tonight. So this will upload, and then a couple hours later you'll see me online again. So what does that mean? So look, I've gone away, and I've had to just do a lot of stuff, real world things. I won't get into it, just for privacy stuff. But yeah, look, it's some hectic stuff, and not just personal stuff, but it's just given me time, a lot of time to think. And I had a really good conversation with someone yesterday. I won't name names just for privacy reasons again, but super vague, super mysterious. But it's just got me thinking about what I'm doing. You know, what am I doing with myself, with my time, my talents? Like, where are they? Where are they being utilized? Are they being utilized at all? You know, what is a job? You know, it's they said just over broke, or JOB, just over broke. And I was like, okay. I mean, I see where you're going with this. You know, and we're both kind of motivating each other, and you know, telling stories of things we used to do, and I started to reminisce on events I used to go to, things I've been invited to do, privileged things that I was able to take part of, you know, and I miss all of that, right? And for those of you who don't know me or what I've been doing on this channel over the years, you know, I've been trying to make a go of it as time goes on over time, as a lot of people are. And, you know, I've had people say, like, just give it up, just stop. You know, it's a bit sad or whatever else. But, you know, screw them. I'm not going to listen to them. I enjoy doing this when I actually get around to doing it. And, you know, I miss, like, I still remember fondly, like, Jamie and Dan. Like, we caught up recently and did you would have seen on my channel, the three of us got on and talked about, you know, are we growing out of gaming? You know, and that was great. I love that. I miss those guys and just doing that stuff, you know, being excited about the gaming industry and the events they're in. You know, in the comic book space, like the comic books and the Marvel movies and the DC movies and all of that excitement, you know, it's gone. It's not there anymore, which, you know, stopped me being motivated to be excited about pop culture stuff in general that I enjoyed. You know, so what did I do? Like, I went away and took it back for myself, right? You know, I started buying books, you know, comic books, omnibusi. I don't know what the plural is for that. And just giant thick books of stories that I've wanted to read over the years that I never have. And, you know, collecting, you know, deluxe edition volumes or hardcovers and whatnot of books that I'm interested to read. And, you know, in fashion to also try and motivate me to make my own. Right. And this goes back to the conversation I just alluded to with, you know, like, I do have talent. Like, I know that, and I'm not trying to sound like you know, a jerk or anything like that, but I can draw. You know, I'm getting better and I'm practicing again, and I know I can do good stuff. I enjoy what I do. I like my artwork, And it's taken me years to admit that to myself, that it's not perfect. It's not as much as I'd like it to be, or it's not where I'd like it to be, but I like it. Like, I'm understanding that it's my style. It's my take. It's my thing. It's only I could do that, right? Only I can make what I'm doing look like that, because it's me doing that, right? Very cryptic, but and I can do this. I can speak. I can communicate. I like to think that I have things thought out well enough to speak on things when I do prepare for something, and I have a different point of view. And it reminds me of going back to the Zack Snyder's Justice League review that I put out. For me, that was my own personal video that I did with bad equipment too, by the way. I didn't have this nice audio like Rode sound deck and mic and a Canon camera. I didn't have any of that. A nice background. I think this is nice. This is my massive wall of Transformers. I didn't have any of this when I did that. And that video was one of my biggest performing videos ever. And it got me over the 1,000 subscribers, and it gave me that taste of, wow, that's what that is. That's what success, I guess, is, or that's what that feeling is. It was the first time I felt found, or discovered or seen on this platform. Right. And all the feedback was super positive, and I've thought about that video a lot, and then life happened and I dropped the momentum. I didn't have the option to keep that momentum going, right? So I know that it's like you get on the wave, right, and you miss it, right? And it's a real thing. And I do remember that, and I think back on it sometimes, and I talked to this person, a friend of mine, about this yesterday, actually, as we were trading stories, and it stuck with me, right? And you get that frustration in place, when real life kicks in. You got to take care of business. You got to take care of yourself, and your loved ones and whatnot. Get with the program, so to speak. But where am I going with this? So lately, I've been getting into my artwork again, and giving myself an easy, achievable goal of a creative goal. And what is that? So I want to put a book out. Right, and I might have talked about it on this show. I can't remember, but something that's, for me, doesn't require that part of me that can't get out of my own way. Right. So what I mean by that is, I have another book or two that I want to put out. Right, but I really want to focus on the artwork on that, and to make it look like how I envision it, as far as drawing people and getting used to drawing landscapes and buildings and whatever, like that whole thing. I'm not used to. That's not my strong suit, particularly jumping straight into something. Plus, I'm learning on how to put this together again. I used to do magazines and stuff all the time, pagination and graphic design. I used to do all that stuff in a previous work life. So I'm just relearning all that and understanding, colors and, swatches and, bleed and margins and all that kind of stuff, right? Anyway, all those skills, they're coming back, which is great. But what am I doing as an artwork, an art piece, whatever you want to call it, for a book that can lend to me growing my skills, that having fun with it and getting out of my own way, right? So I'm not overthinking and criticizing my work to the point where it cripples me and I don't do anything, which has always been the case. So I'm doing this book. It's there's a video on my YouTube channel. I uploaded it over 12 years ago, but I created that prior to that time. It just bumped around on my old MacBook Pro or whatever it was at the time, my PC I think I had back in the day. And I created this animatic in Flash MX, right? That's how long ago I created this animation. So the story goes, I came home drunk one night, as you do during that age bracket where you're going out getting drunk and going to gigs and playing gigs and going to shows and whatnot, playing shows. And I come home one night drunk, and so I get on the computer, and I just thought, I don't know what mindset I was in, but I opened up text, like just text document, just basic text app on the phone, like Notepad, but just text. And I just started typing it out. Just this story, like simple premise, just whatever it is. And after I finished writing it, I read it back to myself, like I recorded myself on audio, put my crappy headset on that I had back at the day, and read it out drunk to me, but I read it as if it was like a children's book. So, I'm just setting this up here, right? So the next day I wake up and I listen to it and I thought it was funny, right? I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, you know what, there's something here. So then I just did some doodles of what the characters might look like. And then I put that into Flash MX and I animated it to me reading out the story. Real simple animatic. I did that style where in the 90s there were a lot of these cartoons that were just black and white with a hint of color now and then, but they were like always like jiggly lines, like moving all the time. So I did that. So I had to keyframe all these elements, and I finished it and I played it and I thought it was hilarious. And I showed friends and maybe acquaintances and posted it on the local Rockhampton forum that was there at the time. And some people thought it was funny. Some people thought it was low humor. It's like, it is what it is. I don't care. But a mate of mine, a couple of mates actually, Jamie's one of them, where over time, my brother, a couple other mates, Matt and all that, like that, they would bring it up every now and then. And it happened recently where it's like, what did you ever do anything with that? Because I remember it and it comes up every now and then. I was like, you know what? I think I will. I think I'll do something this time. And something just kicked in me. I'm like, you know what? Stuff it. And that whole thing of like finding something simple enough to give myself an achievable goal, because I was finding myself very frustrated and not achieving anything artistically, personally, just getting a win on the board. Because I've been telling myself for a number of years now that I will get a book out. I want to get a book out. I want to do something. I want to create a book. I want to make my own stuff. I can create logos and set myself up with an imprint or a website and dedicating myself to it, trying to set myself up like, well, I've invested in a website and, paying for the domain and designing a logo and all the social media pages are all there, but I don't end up doing anything or putting any product out or whatever, right? So this is one of those things. This is leading me to it. So let me show you this. I'll just bring this up. This is a page from it. It's meant to be drawn like a children's book, right? So that they're Kujibo and Harold. Those are the names. The big guy, his name's Kujibo. Harold is the mountain goat, right? So what is this? It can be anything, right? It starts off with a real crass first episode. So what I did, I still have the original animatic file saved. I've kept it all these years. It's up on YouTube too. But what I did is I screenshot every scene, I guess, that you want to call, or every time the camera moves between the characters or something happens, I would screenshot that and convert it into a storyboard. So I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to recreate this animatic, but in this book, right? Just to give myself an easy start. So I did that, and I put those pages together, and I was like, okay, cool, I've done that. And then I found this file that I kept for years now, where I actually started creating episode 2 in Flash MX back in the day. I didn't get too far in it, and I lost the text file. I think that I lost the text file that had what I was writing out for the idea for the next episode. But I remembered a little bit enough about it and I had the file there, so I exported it so I could get the first little bit. And so I did the same thing. I created screenshots, made a storyboard based on what I'd already animated, and I started adding a little bit of color in episode 2. So I thought, okay, that's my starting point. That'll get me going. That'll get the juices flowing, right? And so I did that. So now I'm something like 150 pages in, right? So this is the page, right? It's a full page. What I'm doing is, some people might say it's cheating. I don't care. There's no right or wrong way to do a book. I've had suggestions of like, why don't you make it a comic, like do panels and stuff? I'm like, no. It's a kid's book, and I want to use the whole page. So every page is something. So I'm drawing a full page. So I've done that 150 times so far, right? And that includes, because it's a children's book, or it's meant to look like one. There's some connect the dots. There's some puzzles and crossword puzzles at the back of the book. Like a proper kids book where you get through the thing and there's some activities in the back, that kind of thing. So that was fun to put together. And the rest of the book is just these two going on adventures and, there's some sinister stuff that's always happening. Kujibo and Harold are kind of, particularly Kujibo, he's very oblivious. Like, the world is simple to him. The world is his playground. He's oblivious to anything dangerous or sinister around him, right? And it's just fun. And Harold the mountain goat is just there to play off that. And sometimes he's, for better or worse, he's on the end of it sometimes. And he's the way he speaks is very disjointed. I don't know why I did that, but it's kind of simple but funny. And yeah, it just gets progressively more sinister. In a childlike perspective, I guess. There's some disturbing elements there, but everything around them is dangerous. Everything around them speaks to a world that they're just oblivious to, that they don't acknowledge, right? So I'm keeping it simple. Like, every page, it might read simple, but on the page, there's lots of stuff going on in some of them in particular where you're like, hang on, what's happening with that? Like, what can we know more about that? Or, it's meant to do that. It's meant to make you go, oh, wow, like, wow, what is that? Or what's happening there in the background? Like, there's this weird stuff that they never acknowledge, right? But it's there to give you things to speak to the wider world of what's going on. But as we progress through the book, it gets more and more in your face where you can't ignore it anymore, right? I found it just evolved this way. I'm making it up as I go. I have written each. It contains about 6 or 7, I think, 7 or 8 little stories, right? And a couple of them get progressively longer towards the end of the book. But I made it up as I went along and just having fun with it. But then I've gone back and tried to, like, put seeds in each one to tie up at the end, but also leave you with something at the very end of it. Because if I do another one, I want to have something to jump off or build off, right? So that's what this is, and that's what I've been working on. I'd show you more pages, but I'm not finished yet, and I want to do a proper promo for it. I've made a shirt, and I've ordered a shirt for myself that I'm going to wear, and I'll do a video for it. I've got all the pages and social media stuff there, and I've got a website put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on Amazon for sale when it's ready to go. I'm just going to put it out there in the world and see what happens, right? And I'm having fun with it. I'm actually proud of it. I have noticed, though, to me, it's like a what do you call it? A progression of time in the book as you go through, where the first handful of pages look rough, and I've kept the artwork quite loose on purpose in some instances because I want that free feeling, like childlike feel. But you can see over the progression of the book, like Kujibo and Harold's design somehow just gets more refined, as I'm drawing them 150 times or whatever it is. And I found that a very interesting process as I've gone back when I've done some proof checking and proofing the book and going through the pages and see that they're laid out. And, so I've got pages where I want them to be, like facing each other or, side by side, or where each chapter starts and finishes, that they're on, that's a spread. I'm just being real careful about page placement. And it seems to be coming together really well. And it's going to be a hardcover book, 200 pages on Amazon. So it's low overhead for me because I'm not rich. I don't have the money to throw around to spend 10 grand or something, or 5 grand or whatever on a run of hardcover books, right? And I don't have the space to store them. So whatever. So what are my options? Self-publishing, right? And Amazon's the biggest platform out there to do it. And it's free for me to upload. And so I'm going to do that and put it out there. I'm just being totally transparent with you. And if people are interested in it, fine. And if they're not, look, whatever. It's fine. I will then be able to consider myself a published artist, right? And that's the other thing I want to give myself is, like, you've done something, right? I've done that step, and I've put something out there into the world that's mine as a product and that I'm proud of. And then I can look at the next thing, right? And I've got 2 ones in mind that I want to do and to build out my little part of the world, I guess, with my imprint, Koala Ink Studios. And that's why it says presented by Koala Ink Studios, KI Studios, right? On the video here, I'm putting that on everything now because I'm going to put that under that banner. Everything I do is going to be under that banner moving forward, and that's my thing. Right? That's going to be my thing, my part of the world, my imprint, my brand, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to run with it and see what happens. So after this, who knows what's next? You know, I'll have a break from Quidgy Bro and Harold once I'm finished that book, and I want to move into either another project called the Swagman Chronicles, and there's another one called Guardian of Owner, right? And I've had these ideas in my brain for forever, like as long as I can remember. And I've tried doing stuff with them. You know, I've had some Guardian artwork published in a calendar, an Australian calendar. I submitted it and got accepted, and it was part of that. I've got the physical version here, which is great. That was another thing where I was like, oh man, that feeling of being accomplished, or just seeing something of yours that's published and printed and that's in other people's homes. Right, that was a great feeling for me as an artist that's kind of been repressed. You know, so the thought of someone maybe finding this book interesting or buying it for their kids or whatever, right? And yeah, there's some stuff in there that, you know, depending on the age of the kid, but I think there's stuff in there that adults can enjoy as well. Of like, oh wow, like what the hell? It's kind of cool, or that's disturbing, or dark, or whatever. So anyway, that's the game plan. That's the game plan, right? And there's a few other projects there's only so much bandwidth I've got, which is the other problem. So I work full time, and you know I've got a lot of responsibility there. But ideally, in a real world or a dream world, whatever you want to call it, I'd love to be doing this, right, and making my books and doing that full time. That would be amazing, right? Consider it, call me a dreamer, but there's other people in this world that do it. I mean, if you've watched any other YouTube creator, like with any kind of big following, that they're doing it. That's living proof. And I don't think I'll ever get there, but I'm not going to get there if I don't actually do anything about it. And I'm not giving myself delusions of grandeur here, because for all I know, which is probably true, I missed my time, right? I've missed the boat, but who knows? But I want to be able to speak to whoever's out there watching me, watching what I do, who has an interest in what I'm doing. Clearly there's enough of you that come back every time, right? And I see you, I appreciate it. It's like I speak to a whole room every time I upload something. Like, that's awesome. You know, like some people might look at my analytics or whatever, or my traffic or whatever you see on my stuff, and they might be like, oh yeah, that's nothing, right? But to me, when I see the numbers, it's like, oh man, that's practically like I'm speaking to a full house, like a full room, right? Or a full pub or something, or a full lecture stadium or something, lecture studio or whatever you want to call it. And you know, I uploaded something on TikTok the other day, and you know, it got almost 3,000 views or something. I was like, whoa, okay. And every other video is getting triple digits. And I'm like, wow, okay. You know, so, and I got some new followers and stuff. I was like, well, like, so I look at all this kind of stuff, and I don't get ahead of myself anymore, but it's like, well, some people do like what I do, right? But I have to turn up. I have to turn up and make the time. You know, I've got to jump in 100%, which is what my friend was talking to me about yesterday. Like, if there's something you're passionate about, be realistic. You know, don't just throw your eggs in one basket, but you've got to go in 100%. So that was a great discussion that I think I needed, and I know it's not the first time I've been told that or have had that discussion, but I think it was very timely, because there's other stuff going on in my life right now that I'm questioning a lot of stuff. Or I'm questioning where I am, what I'm doing. You know, I think everybody, when you get to my age, you start thinking that of like, like I want more. Like I believe in myself that I should be more, right? That there's more to me that I'm not using or utilizing or putting out there. And it's very frustrating when you have to deny that. Right? I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's so many people on this planet that feel the same thing. I'm not special in that regard, but it's still a reality, right? It's still something, and it's just worth talking about and having a real discussion with you, rather than just going off about comics and movies and games for a second. You know, I tend to consider myself a bit of a grounded person, and I like to talk about things, and not everything's fluffy and stuff. But so that's what I'm doing. That's what I have been doing, and I did those recent live streams as well, just out of the blue. That was fun. I didn't expect anybody to turn up. Nobody, right? But it was great. Like, a bunch of my friends turned up to that Xbox live stream that I did. I didn't expect that. And the Summer Games Fest, right? I had more people turn up to the Summer Games Fest because it was more aligned with the right time of day. Because it was 3 a.m. here in Australia when the Xbox showcase was on. I just happened to be awake because I couldn't sleep and I wanted to watch it. But still, people were there and turned up, and it was great. I was able to chat to people in there while hanging out, doing what I'm doing. And it was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. And I put up a video of some virtual pet that, that I did something with my wife, and I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I did a review of this? So I did a review of it, just real simple. And that's like in the high triple digits. I didn't expect it. I didn't think it would get anything, to be honest. And I was like, oh, wow, like that video is performing really well, right? And within like 3 videos, I'm over 1,000 views, and it's like, well, that's cool, man. Like that's, I like that. It's that kind of, maybe it is worth me just pulling my finger out and just having fun with it and seeing what happens, right? The discovery is always the hardest part. But it is what it is. But that's what I've been doing, right? I've been questioning life, dealing with some personal health-related issues, and making a book, right? So you'll hear more about the book, Quidjubo and Harold, the closest to the time. Or when I finish it, I'll get a proof of the book. I'll do all that, make sure it's all there, get myself a proper copy so I can take photos of it, build a bit of a promo, put it together, maybe do a little animatic to harken back to where it came from, and to celebrate the book and just enjoy it for myself, if no one else. All right, so that's what I'm doing. So I know that was a long one. That was a long half hour, 27 minutes, 26 if you count the intro, of what I've been doing. So I appreciate your patience and letting me speak and humoring me in my conversation, and at least checking in and making my video part of your day, right? So that's what I'm doing, right? I'm not going to go too much more into what's happening. I don't want to soil this video with actual events, like the Gears of War, Gears E-Day game reveal. I'm so excited for that, and what's happening with Power Rangers. I might do that on the weekend or something, because I want to talk about that stuff, and particularly what's happening with Power Rangers. I love Power Rangers, and to see what's happening to it, it's like, oh man. But anyway, it's another video. But yeah, look, I'm excited to put this out there. Quidjubo and Harold will be out this year. Hopefully I'll get the book finished maybe this month. I've got about 50 pages to go. And then I'll upload it and do all the proofing, order a copy, make sure it's all good. And once it's good to go live, I'll organize my socials and put a video together, and you'll see it. So keep an eye on this channel. I'll put a link in the description below for the Koala Ink channel, which the trailer, I'm going to put a trailer together, like a product ad, I guess, if you want to call it that, on that channel, because that's where I'm going to put all of that stuff. And, there might be some double up on this channel as well, just to get the visual out there and awareness and stuff. But that Koala Ink channel will be the channel for all my artistic endeavors, so I don't glut up this channel too much. And you'll hear about me talking about other products and artistic endeavors as I go along. But that's me. That's what I want to do going forward. I have a bit of a roadmap, if you want to call it that. Like I've got my background on my computer. Maybe I can show you. I'll just be careful with what I've got on the screen, just to secure my privacy. But if I can show you what my background is, and I'll show you what I mean by a bit of a roadmap. So if I go, how do I do this? Plain screen recording. All right, so you can't really see it, but let me just adjust this so I can put it on screen. So what do I do? Preview scaling, snap to full screen. No. God, I can't remember. Anyway, scale filtering. Oh my God, I'll I'll just resize this live. This is how we do it. Anyway, so this is my wallpaper. It's got my logo, Koala Ink Studios. It's got my Uncle Chunt and Chuntcaster there. Gujarat and Harold. I did all these logos. Guardian of Honor, the Swagman Chronicles, School Ties, the Might of Mjolnir, and Odyssey Runner. Right, so these are all the things that I've got in my mind that I want to do. So I see this every day. This is what I see every day when I boot up my computer, when I sit on here, to just be in my mind, in my space, and to motivate me of going, okay, look, I've got Chuntcast, I've got my Uncle Chunt thing going, Gujarat and Harold's next, and then it's going to be probably Guardian of Honor or something, right, which is next. So I can create my like little comic universe or whatever you want to call it, that working on all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it's fun, and I want to put something out there that I'm missing, like DC and Marvel comics. Not that I'm comparing myself to them, but my Guardian of Honor book that I want to do, it's going to be a book that I wish I was reading. It's just going back to what I would find a cool book to read, like a cool superhero book, not on Earth, somewhere else that's a bit of fun, something new, no agenda, like no messaging, no woke stuff. I don't do that, right? So what's that saying? Be the change you want to be, right? Or if there's something not in the world, you do it, like one of those kind of sayings. Like, that's it. That's what I'm trying to do here. Is like, well, I've lost interest in a lot of stuff, so I'll just make my own that I like, and maybe someone else will like it too. Who knows? But anyway, I won't continue. I just wanted to put this video out there, put it together, let you know what I'm doing. Hopefully find this interesting, or if you've been like, hey man, what's going on? Well, this is what's been going on. There's been a lot going on, and I'm happy to just finally be talking about it. So when I do future Chuntcasts, I might drop this every now and then of like, hey, just a reminder, like, hey, I'm doing that. Just I want to keep the conversation going and awareness going, because I know everybody's busy doing their own thing, and I need to sell myself, right? I need to put my product out there. I need to put my art out there. I need to get it noticed because I want people to enjoy it. That's as simple as that. Even if one person gets the book, that I would be so stoked with that. That would just be amazing to me, right? Of like, wow, like at least one person on this planet found my book and thought it was cool enough, or that it looked cool enough that they bought a copy, particularly in this climate, right? That to me will be a win, 100%. And that'll spur me on to do the next one. So anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, making me a part of your day. As I said earlier, I do appreciate it. Time is the one thing that you don't get back besides your health. So again, as we wrap this up, feel free to follow me on all my socials. Just search for Uncle Chunt on all the major ones, or unclechunt.com, to keep abreast of all my upcoming projects and updates. In the meantime, till all are one, may the power protect you, and Skal. Yes.